All right, we are live on YouTube. So, hello everyone. Welcome to Free Financial Fridays. We are here Fridays from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just giving lots of financial information. Information related to spiritual well being, financial well being, and our health, which is extremely important as well. I am here tonight with my um, teammates and awesome family. We are going to be hearing from one of our guests as soon as he's able to log in. We have talked about a host of topics, some including God and finances, financial aid 101, budgeting and debt elimination, credit repair. We've had different challenges where we've done no spend weeks or no spend days, looked at different ways to save money. We have talked about home buying, real estate investing. So we have had a host of different topics, and we are excited to be back again tonight. So we're just going to chat a little bit until our guest is able to get on. If someone wants to share something, just their testimony or promo, you are welcome to do so.
I'm trying to get us on
On Facebook.
Free Financial Fridays. Yes,
Oh, okay.
Shemaine, I know you have something good. I know Spencer does.
Wait, that's Spencer.
Mhm.
Hi, this is Charmaine. I was on mute. But as always, being in business has its benefits. Being in business and my econ, by utilizing the strategies, I've been able to eliminate my debt, consumer debt, only have a house and a car payment, and build investments, lower my taxes, help other people as well, and create multiple streams of income. So that's just my quick testimony about my good news every day. So back to you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll share my promo. I have been in my econ just learning lots of financial strategies and putting those strategies to work. I have been able to eliminate debt. I only have student loans and a new mortgage that I have left to pay. I recently purchased my first home in December. I was able to increase my credit score, which really put the ball in my court as far as the home buying process, and it made it a lot less stressful. I went to the bank asking how much can I get. They said, how much do you want? So that really helped me put the ball in my court, helped me to be in control of making decisions, and just the budgeting aspect helped me to be able to know clearly what I can afford. So it's been wonderful just being in my new home and just learning the strategies and applying those. Spencer, we would love for you to share your promo and
Oh, sure,
anything else you would love to share with us.
sure. Okay, well, I really was listening to you guys, and I was helping William. I apologize there. But yeah, my promo, I'm gonna start back a little bit because some 25 years ago, and the reason I'm gonna start there, I like to think of those days when I was working multiple jobs on the quest of trying to what we call figure it out. And it's pretty easy to figure if you make more money, you should have more money. That's the logical way to think. and but I was working more jobs. I was making more income, but I was taxed more, and I was losing a lot of money to just getting to those jobs and debt. And so I really didn't have a good handle of what was going on. Like a lot of people, it's just that, well, I'm doing everything right that I know to do. No, there's not anything possible to do because sometimes I would work around the clock. I said, so there's no more time. So how can I get more money? And that's what I was looking for. And so when I really start looking at network marketing as a viable opportunity where I could leverage other people and then understood the residual component, that was the only way out, for me. And so when I employed just those two simple principles, leverage and residual income, I was able to cut down two of the jobs and work one job until I was able to go full time in the network marketing industry. And now, building a six-figure income and literally have no debt today. I was looking at getting some cash out of my house recently and knowing what my credit score is and having the gentleman call me back literally within an hour, and kind of like Tiffany is like, well, how much do you want? And that's a
Mhm.
pretty good feeling, knowing that I'm not going to buy a house right now because I believe it's a seller's market. But what I was able to do was get cash out, and because of the interest rate, I can invest, and I can make. I know I'm sure I can get. Now I know where to go get 8 to 12% or more on my money, so I could put a number of a certain amount of cash in that. So if I ever need it, I've taken some cash out of the home now, and I'm investing it. I hurry up and put it in there quick, so I wouldn't nibble off of it. And now I'm gonna sit on that money for a while, and until it becomes a buyer's market,
Right.
and then I go on my shopping spree, and knowing that I can get what I want, I can furnish it like I want to, and so I'm just kind of sitting in the cut, as they say. So I really like knowing these are the kinds of things that we can do to help people, and
Right.
it can be a little challenging sometimes when people don't get it. They because they're probably like where I was, thinking like, uh, you know, I'm doing like everybody else doing. I'm working. I ain't
Mhm.
spending that much, and I'm kind of budgeting. I'm saving. I'm cutting back. But it's how the money comes in that's really important. Is your money coming in through strategies? Are you leveraging other folks? Are you building residual income? And without those, it's going to be difficult for people to master wealth building. Hmm.
Right. That's awesome. Spencer, you mentioned two words, leveraging and residual income. Can you talk a little bit about both of those?
Yeah, well, leveraging is, um, it's a component where when I first heard the word leveraging in a meeting, and they said leverage assets. Well, I really couldn't think of any assets that I had, and so that was kind of like foreign language to me. But when it was broken down to me, is that the network marketing industry allows you to share with other people some of the things that you've done that has helped you, and show people the benefit of what you're doing. And as a result, they can be an extension of you. It's almost like you're getting a clone without having to pay that clone out of your salary. You know, and that's not a bad thing. You know, that's a good thing. You know, you get a chance to earn some money through the efforts of other people, and that's what's going on. And that's why people start businesses primarily, and that's how they get big. Is the more people they can hire in many cases to do some work, well, that's helping them build their empire. So
Right.
we have to adopt this same type attitude. Is that, man? You know, how can we? And network marketing just offers it in such a very cost-effective and easy way. I think as people get introduced to it and they see it as a viable entity, then you're going to see a lot of people really sign up for it. I mean, we got in contact with a 21-year-old this week that, and I'm starting to see a lot of the people that's just reaching their, you know, 20 and 21, and before they're 25, they're understanding leverage income and they're understanding residual income. And they're like, and one of the first things the gentleman said, well, yeah, I want some of that. Yeah, because
Mm,
you know that makes sense. And so that's kind of like where I'm at with this, is to teach people that no matter what they've heard, they can't go to a person that's never done it, and no matter how much they value their opinion, if they haven't had any success doing it, then their opinion can be very limited, and
right.
they should not ask that person to help them make a decision about something they know nothing about.
Right.
Eh,
Exactly.
You know, it's it's kind of like there's somebody asking somebody to fix your car who knows nothing about fixing cars.
Hmm.
You
No,
know,
thank you.
yeah.
Yes. Awesome. Wilson, let us know when you're ready and we'll give it over to you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, well, now I'm on a tablet,
Okay.
and I guess verbal will have to do because whatever's going on with the tablet now. But it's really something freaky with my desktop, I guess, because you saw I had logged in, ready to share, and everything,
Uh-huh.
and it like disappeared. Like what? And it won't accept this Bitly.
Oh, the
Whatever I
bit was like,
copy, only thing that shows up is Free Fin Fridays. But I'm like, I don't know how to deal with that. But anyway, um, there you go.
Wilson, I'll try to pull up the presentation if you want to just introduce yourself and tell us what you do, and I'll see if I can
Okay.
pull it up and share.
Okay. Well, I think I can get that, but yeah, let's keep it moving. If you can do that, that's fine.
Okay.
The floor is yours, Wilson.
Excuse me.
The floor is all yours.
Okay, I'm not hearing you all as well, so I hope you can hear me well. Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So sorry for the lack of professionalism. Thought we were prepared, but I guess I wasn't totally as prepared as far as the technical part. But anyway, my name is Wilson Patterson. I'm doing business as Insurance Solutions for Living. I'm outside of Charlotte in Harrisburg, North Carolina. Been doing independent agent work about 4 years. Been involved with a couple of insurance companies, a few agencies, but my actual first exposure to insurance was 40 some odd years ago in the military. I did the benefits for people coming in, the Air Force, and the people preparing to retire. Did briefings, group presentations, for planning and all that. But I've spent probably half my life, 30 years, in technical fields, working in chemical manufacturing, laboratories, stuff like that. It was not fulfilling, made money, but I get in my 50s, I'm thinking, what is it you want to do that will make a long-term effect on people's lives? And what have I done that I had any personal satisfaction from? And I had to look back to my job I had in the Air Force, and it was directly assisting people, affecting their families' legacies, and making sure their families got all the benefits. So that's when I kind of splashed back into the insurance stuff from a commercial standpoint. Like I said, about 6 years, but I've kind of always dealt with this stuff because I knew a lot, but not, well, a lot of things. I did not know a lot. I knew a lot of basics of insurance. So that's a part of what I can say about me personally. I dedicate a lot of my time to the senior market. That would be Medicare, long-term care, a variety of senior related products. But I also make it a point to try to connect the best values. I'm not saying necessarily lower dollar premiums and stuff all the time, with long-term benefits, and try to make it work for every stage of your life, because we go through different stages with our health and our life. And each phase, healthcare management is very important. It should be primary, in fact. So here we go. I really am not seeing that screen, Tiff.
That's because I don't have it.
Okay,
I
I
don't
see
have
my
it up yet.
presentation.
You can see your
Okay.
presentation?
Well, it's my file, my
Oh, okay,
PowerPoint
gotcha.
presentation.
Gotcha. You can talk from there. Greg, I just emailed it to you. I sent it to myself as well. So I'm waiting for it to come through. But you can keep talking, and then once we get it, we'll share it.
Okay, how about you just control the screen then, since I'm not sharing it from my end? Because from my end, I had about 4 minutes per slide. But anyway, I'm going to get to it a little bit more about myself, the last of 12. I'm the baby boy out of 12 people, and I'm 60. Learned a lot from my people, but also learned a lot of things I didn't want to do. And before I really jump right into the benefits of high deductible health plans and health savings accounts, I would like to specify that's somewhat deceptive, even the title, because there's not a lot of benefits to high deductible health plans, but there are some. And quite frankly, a lot of people will be not the ideal candidates for them. But you must have a high deductible health plan to qualify for a health savings account. Okay, so that's on the first page. I guess you have benefits of high deductible health plans and health savings account. So if you'd like to move to the next screen where I have my own personal quote. Investment in your health is investment in your future quality of life. Don't undervalue your health. Is your greatest asset. Next slide. Are we ready?
It's just
Hello?
coming through now, so I'm getting ready to open it up. I think if it will let me.
Did I go too fast?
Here we go. It's opening now. Okay.
Okay,
All right, so
I'm
we're
not
on
sure
the,
I'm.
okay, so on the benefits of high deductible healthcare plans and health savings accounts.
Yes, ma'am. What slide are you on?
The one that says benefits of high deductible healthcare plans and health savings accounts.
Okay, so that would be slide 3.
Okay,
Okay. Okay. So as it says here, today's healthcare landscape is constantly changing, and we have to prepare for every stage of life, and healthcare is continuing to be one of the leading out of control costs that everybody will bear. Really, the rest of your life, you're going to be paying premiums, deductibles, co-pays, and co-insurance unless you're extremely poor or disabled, or you just got so much money you don't need health care insurance. Not many people fit in those situations. So the cost for a healthcare savings account, the benefits of health saving accounts are done only through having a high deductible healthcare plan. But we will all need, services from doctors, hospital, nurses, pharmacies, dentists, things like that. And all of those facets of healthcare, the dental, vision, hearing, mental health, long-term care are far more than half of the country are capable of saving. It's just going to be that expensive in the future, and even now, especially for long-term care. But these high deductible healthcare plans is the way to get into a health savings account. And on there, near the bottom, we have,
William,
health
can I ask
savings
you a
account.
question?
Hello? Say
Can
again?
I ask you a question?
Please.
Yeah, on the health savings account, and I've always wanted to ask this question. I apologize for being just not knowing. But a health savings account, what's the difference in that and just having a health account? Like with in this case, let's say I'm on Kaiser. What are the two difference in those? Are there any differences?
Oh, okay. Totally different, because we're talking about a healthcare plan. So Kaiser is probably is a network. So that's
Okay.
your healthcare plan. I'm not sure, if well, I would say you have a Medicare, some kind of Medicare, because you're over 65, correct?
Right, right. So I have a Medicare with them. Hmm.
Right. So that's your healthcare plan. However, you being 65, you can't take advantage of a high deductible care plan or a healthcare savings account. And we'll go over that because it's one of the things that's pointed out. So a health savings account is the most efficient tax vehicle I've seen personally, to save on your health care costs on the front end, in the middle, and on the back end. I don't know anything else that allows you to, capture credits on the front end, because it kind of goes on whether you're an employer situation where your employer may sponsor, high deductible health plans each year, or if you're an individual. It's a little different when it's like an individual, because you won't likely be as efficient with the pre-tax part. But if, with your employer, it's pretty easy for them to do your W-2 and, reduce all your contributions towards your premium for your healthcare plan. whatever it is, United Healthcare, Humana, whoever, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, okay? But if you have that high deductible health plan, instead of, it costing you $2,400 a year, for instance, $200 a month, well, that would be pretty low, wouldn't it? $200 a month for a qualified health plan. But you would be able to take that cost off of your adjusted gross income. And, that's really the gist of it. But let's just go through the screen because I think it'll all fall into place. Go through the presentation.
Okay.
Okay. Because I'm going 4. So I do want feedback, and that was one of my concerns. Okay, will we have enough time for feedback? Then I wasted all the time not being able to connect. Okay. But for in general, this is not just high deductible healthcare plans, but all qualified health care plans. Premiums may change every year for healthcare plans. Premiums do not count toward annual deductibles. Now, those very critical things to be remembered too, because as I mentioned earlier, unless you're extremely poor, 100% disabled, or got a lot of money, you will be paying premiums, deductibles, co-pays, and co-insurance the rest of your life. Possibly for 2 or 3 different things. Because in Medicare, you could possibly have a healthcare plan premium and deductible, and you could possibly have a pharmaceutical benefit, the prescription drug plan, which are required to have in Medicare. They may possibly have their own deductible. But just saying them, it depends on what those amounts are, because the things with deductibles, you have to cover that before you get services. Correct?
Correct.
Did we hear that?
All right. Yes, sir.
And unfortunately, though, that very thing with high deductible plan and even normal or average deductible, because there are some parameters of what's established. We'll get it on the next page of what's considered a high deductible and all that stuff. But people's inability to pay even the deductibles after they pay the monthly premium. I mean, everybody's not doing great where they can pay a $350, $400. I've heard of people for families paying $1,400, $1,500 a month for premium, then have like $13,000 deductible. That's a lot of money. And that's where the health savings accounts come in, because they're tax advantaged. So I also mentioned qualified health plans because Spencer, you mentioned you have Kaiser, so that your age, it is Medicare. But Medicare is it only offers qualified health plans. And I don't want to go down that rabbit hole too much. But there are some benefits as established under the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, ACA, whatever you want to call it, that certain benefits must be included in a qualified plan. Most of those have to do with, like maternity coverage, no maximum limits or lifetime limits on healthcare coverage as far as cost. That provision that allows parents to keep their children on their healthcare plan until 26. All those are some of the benefits. under PPACA. And, you know, that's the only kind of plans that can offer a high deductible health plan. So if deductibles vary by plan type, and they do, so do the co-insurance level that most people just think like 20%. My part is 20% or 30% or 48%. But they can vary as far as how the pricing is, because there are different trade-offs when you're dealing with the deductibles, the premiums, and co-pays, just like your homeowner's insurance or auto insurance. You choose, do I want to pay $1,000 deductible or $500 deductible, you know? And most people, well, a lot of people say, well, I'm going to take the lowest deductible, but then they're going to pay an extra $70 a month on premium. But you got to get those kind of, that concept tight to really maximize this is a strategy, quite frankly, with some qualifiers. So I'm going to move down to the last statement on that page, and it's a general statement. The lower the monthly premium, generally, the higher the deductible and or the higher the maximum out-of-pocket limit. And qualified health plans, that's one of the coverages of a qualified health plan under the Affordable Care Act. There is a maximum limit you can spend out of your pocket, but it's for 12 months. Next year, that same maximum limit coming up, it might go up, you know, a little bit more you can spend out of your pocket. That's what's been happening every year. A little bit more, they allow you to be the maximum spending limit, you know. So just keep in mind, because it makes a difference in the long run, because this whole strategy is you have to really be thinking long term, or I'll say it's best, because it's going to be most advantageous for younger people. Get in it early, start reaping the benefits of, you know, reduce tax obligations by getting the pre-tax credit, you know, all your interest, guaranteed interest rates on most of the health savings accounts. Okay, and the distributions, you know, when we get there, are tax-free. There's not a lot of things out there, but you have to understand your health care plan first. That you really have to understand how it works. Or a lot of people will, you know, probably not take advantage of it, because lots of Americans, they forego health care because of these deductibles. So it takes planning. So on the page 5, slide number 5, Tiffany. Hello?
Yes, I'm with you.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can kind of get you again, because we're kind of out of sync. I'm not really seeing you on that end. Doesn't matter so much though, I guess. So on slide 5, I have kind of like a breakdown of how it works with mostly, I want to give you an idea of how it looks. You know, the maximum out of pocket for a standard deductible qualified health plan and a high deductible. Can you all see that? The numbers?
Yes, we can see those.
Any questions about the numbers? And do you see the relationship of how one kind of plan, a standard deductible, actually has a higher maximum out of pocket limit? So you could literally spend considerably more out of your pocket because it doesn't provide the protections of a high deductible health care plan, even though it is a qualified health plan. The high deductible health plans are designed to make you more conscious of cost sharing, like what's your responsibility in your health care. So if you look at it, you can see you kind of have to think this through. It's going to cost you less per month for a high deductible health plan's premiums. So where, say, an individual may be paying $300 a month for that standard deductible qualified health plan, the HDHP, the high deductible one, might be 160 or something, and you have the benefit of knowing, well, this will be the limit. I will have to pay out of my pocket if something happens. But generally, the most advantages will be to a person that doesn't use healthcare much, like myself. I get preventive care. That's about it. Don't take any medications. And, so I don't need to pay the extra $200 a month. But I have a high deductible health care plan and I have a health savings account. And let me say, this is going on the 3rd year. It was the most instrumental financial device I had to accelerate reaching some of my financial goals for a certain period, literally. Once I got to a certain point, I saw how the high deductible health plan, saving that extra 200 in my household is like 200 some odd dollars a month being saved. So that immediately is going toward the health savings accounts, but other stuff. I mean, the other stuff that's going to accelerate my debt-free journey, completely debt. Well, I won't go there too much because I'm not too worried about being totally debt-free. But it creates one of my, or I'll say it solidifies one of my personal life principles in managing almost everything, especially finances. And as simple as I call it, wiggle room. Always have options, always have, more room, insulation if things go bad, or, just make sure you're not going to get caught in any situation that you don't have the resources to get you out of. So this is a great tool for that, to accelerate your debt-free or cash accumulation strategies. Because as I said, you save the money from the monthly premiums if you're in good health. When you're enrolled in a high deductible health plan, you're going to be getting benefits from the HSA side, but you can apply your savings to all kinds of stuff. In fact, I won't go too far into it, but one strategy, which I personally employ, because I have a high deductible healthcare plan that I do not intend to spend, $7,000. Well, actually the deductible is closer to like $4,500, I think. I don't intend to spend $4,500 directly on that. If I had need of hospital services or something like that. I use part of the savings from the monthly premiums to pay for a supplemental kind of plan, a fixed indemnity plan. So if I had an accident, and I had to, go to the hospital or whatever, even urgent care, quite frankly, I'm going to get a check first, with this supplemental plan directly to me. I can pay it to the doctors and whomever, but it'll be for me, because that's what that is about. But you have lots of options, but it is one way to deal with the high deductible of high high deductible health plans, because as I said from the start, there really are not lots of benefits to the health care plan part, except for the, limitations of how much you're going to spend out of your pocket, and perhaps the lower cost of the premium. That is a benefit, but the real benefit is in the health savings accounts. So before I move on from this one, because I really, I didn't hear any feedback, but I just want you all to know that, there is a relationship you really need to understand with this, because there's a method to the madness, but you need to really take a look at them before you choose to go that route if you're eligible for a high deductible healthcare plan. So let's go to 6. And this is more or less a reiteration. Premiums, deductibles, copays, and coinsurance are your responsibility and come out of your pockets. These are recurring annual expenses, regardless of age or retirement status or previous years out of pocket expenses. However, I do have the caveat, some medical expenses may be deductible from your tax obligations and see IRS provisions or your qualified tax advisor. Okay, but that particular part kind of goes on when we start getting into the actual health savings account. Okay, some of those points will be clarified about expenses may be deductible. Okay, now we're moving on slide 7, high deductible health care plans require a strategy and commitment. Cost savings on monthly premiums, lower maximum out-of-pocket expense, and $0 costs for preventive services are the primary advantages of high deductible health plans. And plans vary and may be employer provided. Any questions about any of this stuff so far?
No, not yet. Not for me.
Okay. I did put an asterisk by a particular statement because a lot of people are in different situations, and probably just best to make the caveat that employer self-funded plans may offer additional benefits, but even under the ACA, they may limit certain benefits, but they would still be compliant with the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. So I can't expound because there are some variations, but most of them, are maybe limited, and self-funded is literally what it says. Like my wife works for Bank of America. They're big enough that they can pay for the healthcare plan for, whatever 200,000 people or whatever the number of employees they have. But they had self-funded plans with some interesting little exclusions and stuff. I'm like, wow, they really know how to work it. So, trying to get out of the high deductible healthcare plan part so we can get to HSAs. But you can enroll usually annual events, however, qualifying life events, birth of a child, change of residence, marriage, etc., may entitle consumers to participate in a qualified health plan under special enrollment provisions. Under like Medicare and even like the healthcare marketplace, the federally facilitated marketplace, healthcare.gov, you all may have heard that there's been a special enrollment period for, really it's for everybody. I'm thinking a lot of people think their employer provided health insurance sometimes is such a great deal. I can assure you that's not always the case. And it's even beneficial for some people to go on the marketplace, even though they have coverage from their employer, because the plans under the marketplace are qualified health plans. I mean, it's literally like the gold standard. But you have some different options, and you may even qualify for certain cost savings, cost savings, and cost sharing reductions. You know what they call them. So just keep it in mind. Last statement with the high deductible health plan stuff is enrollment in a high deductible health care plan is most beneficial to those that understand their health profile, annual medical expenses, liquidity of cash or credit, and a reasonable understanding of how medical goods and services will be used in the upcoming plan year. Right? Hello, am I still connected?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to slide 8, and then we're going to deal with health. Hello?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay. Slide 8, health savings account, finally. Okay, IRS publication 969, health savings accounts and other tax-favored health plans, defines and describes HSAs, their eligibility requirements, funding requirements, limitations, and obligations. An HSA or health savings account is a tax-exempt trust or custodial account. Distributions are tax-free when using funds for qualified medical expenses. That's in detail goes under IRS publication 502 because once you actually have the health savings account, it is not separate from they are separate from the high deductible healthcare plan. But the high deductible healthcare plan is the qualifier. You can change plans, or you can actually get out of the high deductible healthcare plan later. It's still going to be your money, you know, but you still probably want to reap the benefits if you can of the high deductible healthcare plan. Okay, so I wanted to kind of specify the IRS publication 502, because to start getting into different kinds of medical expenses, and sometimes people don't think of dental expenses as medical expenses, and that's very unfortunate. But you can pay for dental expenses with your health care savings account funds. You can pay for mental health stuff, treatments. You can even pay for qualified health care plan premiums. So like Spencer, if you had a healthcare savings account when you were 60, you could be paying for your Medicare monthly premiums if you have a premium, deductibles, all that stuff from a tax advantage standpoint. You could even be paying for a qualified long-term care plan. It's the only device I've seen with so many savings. But again, you must be under age 65 enrolled in a high deductible health care plan to open and contribute to an HSA. Questions? Feedback?
Wilson, can you talk a little bit about, it says a tax exempt trust. What is a trust?
Well, basically usually not. The way they're using it, it's not like the same kind of legal estate trust. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not an IRS expert and not expected to be technically. I'm just giving their definition, but I know what it comes down to there are lots of administrators of these health savings accounts. Some of them are not banks. I mean, it's a really odd setup. But a lot of banks, credit unions, and all that. Bottom line, you're going to have someone else administrating it, and they have their certain compliance things they all have to conform to. You probably can have someone else, more deep into other kind of tax stuff and legal things that can explain a trust from this standpoint.
Mhm.
Most of us will probably get an account that would be more likely being held on what they call a custodian, like the bank would be a custodian. You know what I'm saying? That's all the way they're using it in this way. The bank would be the custodian of the account. You would be the beneficiary, but the trust, quite frankly, I think it gets more into how you can do some other things with it, like actually use it almost, well, you can't use it as, it's an asset. It's certain limitations though. It's some things you can't do with HSAs. I mean, you'll be able to spend it on whatever you want to, quite frankly, but you're going to have to give account on this stuff later on if you don't spend it on healthcare. But really,
Okay.
it's a lot of little details. I don't want to get into it because I'll probably go over my area of expertise, and I don't like to do that. Do not.
So how much are you able to put into an HSA every year?
I actually, I think that's covered on a later slide. I think
Okay.
it's about 7,000. But if you're 55 and older, just like IRAs, and let me think, there's a couple of things that you can start contributing. A little extra catch up, they call it, once you're 55. But I think the number is 7,000 per individual, 14,000 per couple.
Okay.
And it's hopefully I put that in there too. Okay, but I'll just go with what it says. On slide 9,
Okay.
check this out. Anyone can contribute to your health savings account before age 65. So literally, parents and grandparents, if if your child is covered under health or grandchild is covered under a health savings account, it's really one of the most efficient ways to give them a gift long term. I mean, it's really interesting. But anyone can contribute to your HSA. So that's interesting. Contributions used pre-tax dollars when employer makes contribution. And I kind of specified because I said it earlier, like my situation being an entrepreneur, I don't have an employer. Pretty much all my stuff is, I basically will be taking advantage of the credits, reducing my tax obligation on the back end and stuff, and the distribution part. So just saying, but there are some different arrangements with employment and all that, where you can still take advantage of it. Okay, distributions are tax-free when used for qualified medical expenses. Includes healthcare plan premiums, Medicare Advantage premiums, not Medicare Supplement, Medicare Advantage premiums, qualified long-term care insurance premiums. That's another healthcare industry term, qualified, because there are long-term care insurance contracts, but all are not qualified. And only qualified long-term care insurance premiums. Contracts can you use your health savings account funds for. But you can also use those funds for any medical goods and services, not covered by qualified health plans for dental, vision, hearing, and mental health care expenses. Anything related to your health. You can even buy, you know, stuff like over-the-counter medicines, you know, the medications, Band-Aids and all that. All the list is on laid out pretty much in IRS publication 502. But wouldn't it be nice to say you'd be able to write off that box of Band-Aids or whatever? I mean, but I thought it really interesting just from doing my research. And I've never seen this. Like, why would they exclude this anyway? But for 2021, they exclusively made it a point to add stuff like menstrual products. I'm like, why wasn't that stuff on there anyway that you can use your funds for? But, you know, cool. It is what it is. Okay. If you like, we can move on.
I have a question.
Okay.
I'm trying to decipher all this, and I think everybody else is too.
Uh-oh.
But to put it in basic terms, it sounds like if you have a high premium healthcare plan.
High deductible.
You mean, okay, so you're talking about deductible. What
High deductible. That's what I was trying to get off from the start. You really have to understand those relationships to even take advantage of it. Otherwise, really, you're just going to be going in there blindly. And I hope people won't.
Okay, so could you freeze right there? Because I don't want you to go too far down there to get off track to where I'm trying to understand. So you're talking about deductible, the upfront money that you have to pay once you enter or make a visit versus your monthly premium. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So you're saying that you have to qualify based on the high deductible plan that you have. And when you qualify because of the high deductible, you can actually have the additional spending, sounds like, and the additional spending now becomes, falls under you're qualified to have that spending as a deductible. Is that what you're saying?
I'm wondering if you flip in the term spending with savings, because, you know, is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm using words interchangeably, but if I have to be accurate about the savings versus the spending, so if you have savings, if you're spending, you say you have to be qualified based on a deductible, the high deductible to get into the this plan, sounds like.
To have a health savings, to open a health
to open account. Okay, that's a key word right there.
Yeah, to open a health savings account, you must have a high deductible health care plan.
Okay, got that. So that means the plan, so that the plan actually jumpstarts additional spending, a savings. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. As I mentioned earlier, for me, it creates wiggle room. I mean, like anybody else, if you can save an extra $200 on anything every month for the rest of your life, I mean, you can do something with that and write it off.
Okay, so it sounds like you're balancing, you said, because you don't use it that much, you have the high deductible, so you're not exercising the high deductible. So because you're not doing that, the additional money that you have that you could be spending, it becomes a saving. It's converted over to savings, which now in turn becomes a deductible, lowers your taxable income. Is that where we are?
All that. Yep. We, kind of went over it step by step, but yeah, it creates all those, your monthly savings. You're gonna save how much you're spending, because believe me, almost everybody's gonna pay premium, right? If you have health insurance, it's unfortunate we have to say that, but lots of people do not have health insurance. So they can't take advantage of it at all. But if you want to be prudent and really value your health, you're going to stay on the preventive end. You'll do the things that if you use healthcare services and have a primary care physician and all that stuff, then you're going to do what you need to do to have a better quality of life. I'm kind of backing it up to my statement earlier. You need to invest in your health. But quite frankly, I don't think money is worth your health, no matter how much money you got. It's good to have money, but quality of life and being able to live fully, energetically, vibrantly, and all that, a lot to do with your health. So yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it. But you have to set your priorities, and the door opens with that high deductible healthcare plan. And like I said, for my
Okay, well,
household,
let me just intervene for a minute. So you're saying to invest in the quality of health that you're going to have, you're linking that to the savings plan, or you're talking about putting forth the effort to do those things that we should be doing in terms of nutrition, exercise programs,
all that.
in order
It's a
to
mindset. Yep.
reduce the amount of time you will spend going to make visits. That's what I'm kind of getting here.
Well, no, you can go there, but bottom line, my value system is based on simple stuff. And I know for me, my health, I'm grateful I don't have to take any medications. I can wake up, and do most of what I need to at 60 years old. I'm not 20. And I can tell I'm 60. That ain't too bad for 60, So I'll still be able to take advantage of this healthcare savings account for at least contributions for another 5 years. Only 5 years, but for the rest of my life, beyond, if I should live beyond 5 years, I'll have that money still in a tax advantaged account, accumulating interest. And I think I got down here at the last slide. A lot of these accounts, health savings account, have an investment arm where you can literally, you have the savings accumulating at whatever, 1.5%. And some of them have very competitive rates like that. And that's competitive these days, 1.5%. Whoa, and get your opportunity to use part of your contributions, whatever your contributions, to invest. It'll only let you invest in mutual funds, but that's a safe move, because mutual funds are about investment, not speculation. Unfortunately, I hear a whole bunch of speculation on the internet and all kinds of these financial forums. I mean, like, wow, you probably need to establish a base level plan. For consistent returns, almost unconditional. You're going to get this amount of return as a basis, not invested, but you're going to get this 1%, 2%, or whatever for the rest of your life. And then, get diversified, get into all the IRAs or whatever it is you get into. But I see a lot of people, literally just speculating, wasting their money. Most of them, it's nice to catch these crazes, but the tax efficient money is the best money. It doesn't matter. I actually got something I have set up. Maybe one day I'll share to show the difference in a person with $1 million savings, cash savings in their account. That's not tax efficient. And then you show you that money of its spending power. And it'd be like actual spending power within a tax advantage account may actually only be $620,000 that have the same power as $1 million that's not tax efficient. So depending on your tax, your tax rate. But that's how we have to have those kind of devices, those instruments in our portfolio. If you want to throw a few $100s a month to Bitcoin, that's kind of on a person, that's on them. But it would be nice to have something solid. You're protecting, you're investing in your health, you're getting consistent returns. You're going to get these additional benefits of using the account tax-free when you take money out of your account. Because when you pull it out of that IRA and you're under 59 and a half, you're going to pay on income. You're going to pay those fees. You might have made a nice little chunk, but is it tax efficient chunk? We don't know. It will be every time with this HSA. So I'm going to kind of move on. If your question is answered.
Yeah, you can go ahead and move on. Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay, I'm just going to read directly from the next to the last sheet or whatever. It says you can deduct the amount you deposit in an HSA from the income you pay federal income tax on. So if you pay $2,400 a month in premiums, a year in premiums, $200 a month, and you make 40,000, then I guess you get that 37.6 or something actual reporting amount. Unspent health savings account funds roll over from year to year, allowing you to build tax-free savings to pay for medical care later. HSAs may earn interest, which is not subject to taxes. HDHPs, I'm going back on that again because this is kind of a summary, have lower monthly premiums than non-high deductible health care plans, creating opportunities for saving and investment. But I'd like to reiterate, it's about creating wiggle room. When you got a little bit extra or fewer obligations, you can do whatever you want to, whether it's with healthcare or whatever. You just don't have to spend out as much. So this is an instrument you can use to create that opportunity or that wiggle room. Okay, some HSAs offer opportunities to invest in mutual funds as well as earn a fixed nominal interest rate. If you have money in your HSA, when you turn 65, you can spend it on anything you want. But if you aren't spending it for a qualified medical expense, it will be taxed as income at your then current tax rate. We're good? So that's pretty much the presentation. So sorry for the whole communication issue, just embarrassing. But any questions about anything? Anyone?
So this kind of helped me out a lot. One of the things we do is we show people how to adjust their W-4.
Right.
I've always seen HSA up there. And when we got to that part, it was like, well, if you don't have one, don't worry about it. Now I totally understand it. Understand it a lot better. So basically, you can use it as a tax deduction, and the money that's in it, you can use to pay for your deductibles or whatever qualified items. Correct?
Exactly. Because like I said, I lowered my our monthly premium to have health insurance. We lowered over $200 actually. And myself and my wife, since I'm an insurance agent, that savings was enough to purchase two separate policies that will more than cover any situation to meet our deductible and still have extra money left over, the total savings to accelerate knocking out stuff, other little things, basically. Over the past year, I probably knocked down about, I don't know, had a little bit of credit card debt and stuff. I've got like 3 accounts, low balance accounts, but they were lingering too long. You know, just a lot of things. You know, being able to do over the past 2.5 years that this really enabled them to accelerate that debt-free journey. Or I'm not debt-free, but you know, I'm well on the way. But I'd probably be about 1.5 years behind had it not been for these high deductible health plans. And I haven't used the health savings account stuff yet because we just do preventive care.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing the information. I know, Wilson, when you had mentioned it to me before, I didn't really understand the ramifications of it.
Yeah.
I do agree with Mr. Satterwhite that this is, you know, something that we can talk to our community about when we're talking about the W-4. I mean, we're talking about tax savings and how they can take advantage. And I do know that one thing my econ has been moving toward, it's been moving toward, you know, addressing the whole issue of health as part of our overall health and wellness. So I think it's, you know, it's really important to have this information, and, you know, thank you for sharing it.
Yes, I am grateful to be able to share it because believe me, you know, I've said, I'm glad you finally spoke up, Sonia. Thank you very much. You know what I've said before. I'm not that excited about insurance in general till Black people start owning insurance companies again. And that's down to the bone real because we had one right here and it's not the same powerhouse, but we have too much collective power as people, but we're going to have to get a lot wiser. And that's what you all do. You teach, you share, you know, each one teach one, all that stuff. I really appreciate the opportunity to share and to be a part of Free Financial Fridays and my econ. Yeah.
Thank you, Wilson. This was really informative and helpful. This was actually my first year taking part in the HSA. So it's bringing a lot of understanding to it. And I've already started planning for next year with some things that I know I want to have done. So this is great. I appreciate you coming
That's
to share.
good. Well,
Yeah.
you mind sharing your experience? I mean, good to say your references, but since costs for premiums are all over the place, what might I ask, do you think your savings per month are? And are those savings on premiums for an individual or a family?
When it's on individual, I think mine is maybe 100. It's probably lower than $100. I basically calculated like what my monthly medical expenses would be, and then just set it up that way. So basically, rather than like for one thing, I do chiropractor visits. So I just had that payment coming directly out of my HSA rather than my regular account.
Interesting. That's cool. No, but I was wondering how much you save per month opposed to a standard deductible healthcare plan.
Oh, that I'm not sure.
See, because all that stuff goes into the same thing, like you, the preparation that you all emphasize with the W-4, because this is where all this stuff's supposed to be happening. When you get well, you can do a W-4 anytime, but you know, even a W-4 requires some planning. You need to have a strategy, because now, once you understand the power of this, you can knock off a couple of other notches on that W-4. Your tax obligations are going to lower considerably if you do it right. In the overall, not just because you got to think about the back end and all that kind of stuff. You're going to literally be able to save money per month and save right at the end of the year. I paid $2,400 and you take that off, your obligation too. So it's like, wow, it's not many things I know of that deliver so many benefits tax wise as a HSA, and it's all over the place with companies trying to promote it. In fact, I was going to put on the presentation a company, I'll say, in a way, I partner with because they're providing a lot of information, but they're definitely in it just for the money. That's the only problem with this particular company. They're not a healthcare company. They're not a bank. They literally will just keep your money for you if you want it. Well, they'll guarantee your interest rate and all that stuff, and even help you with selecting on mutual funds and stuff like that. But the education part, they are strong on, very strong on. And can I ask this one thing? What generally is the age range of the people in Free Financial Fridays?
It's kind of hard to say because it's a wide range. Actually, I think I can look at the stats and let you know afterwards. I think it may be in the 20s on up.
That's what I was thinking probably, but it seemed like most of the people I've seen, only few that I've seen or know, kind of like 40s, 50s and stuff. But like, since I knew Sonia was in here, and I've actually worked with Sonia with some healthcare stuff or tried to, I know she's in Medicare age. So it's not that HSAs are irrelevant. High deductible healthcare plans are irrelevant to, well, not totally, but for the most part, irrelevant to someone in Medicare. There are various plans that do have different ranges of premiums and deductibles and all that, but technically they aren't the same high deductible healthcare plans once Medicare takes over. But I must say one thing about these plans, and I mentioned it has to be a qualified healthcare plan. That is somewhat of a good assurance because the qualified healthcare plans generally require managed care. Does anyone?
Can I ask a question there, Wilson?
Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned something that's interesting. A matter of fact, very enlightening, good presentation here. Well, you mentioned that we could, let's say if a person is in the 25% tax bracket and they're paying $200 a month for their health savings plan. Well, that's about, in terms of savings, that's about $50 a month. What if could they take that $50 a month and put that toward life insurance?
You can do all that. You can do whatever, like I'm saying, the savings per month, you can do what you want to, it's yours because you don't owe anybody that. Yeah, but you cannot do
Well, I guess I didn't mean to say it like that. I meant to say, you know how you say you could use the money in your account to do whatever you choose if it was, I guess I'm thinking insurance related.
Well, bottom line, it's a really kind of odd situation. Literally, nobody's going to be checking on you what you do with the money. But you're supposed to report. Like if you pay the doctor from your HSA, like Tiffany says she's using chiropractor, technically she's supposed to report that she used whatever $50 a session it is, So she went 10 times this year. She's proposed to report to IRS on I don't even want to say what the number, 1058 or something like that. which is another schedule of distributions, things you've taken out of the account. It's no cost or no charge against it. They just want to know.
Okay.
But if you say you took out 500 and bought a new iPhone, they still want you to report it, but you're going to pay whatever your tax rate is on that until you're 65.
Uh-huh.
Then when you're on 65, it's really kind of the same situation. Because literally, your income usually is going to be lower when you're in 65. Well, not everybody. So I don't intend to retire by a number. Let's put it like that. So generally, a lot of people are trying to work with passive income then, or retirement income when they're 65. So they'll be at a lower tax rate, even though they're spending it on, like I said, whatever they're spending on at 65, it'll probably be a lower tax rate.
So that's kind of sounds like you can take it out, and if you use it for medical or whatever medical healthcare type of things, you won't be taxed on it if you're age 65. If you use it on something other than medical or healthcare, you're going to be taxed on it at your taxable rate.
So you're going to be taxed on whatever that distribution. But suppose you just took out for whatever reason. You just I lost my debit card or something to my regular account, but I still got my HSA account. You're going to have a debit card. I'll use the $20 to go to the movies, but I'm going to have to report it. It's just like that, That's really what it'll come down to. When it's time to file taxes the next time, you will get a 10. Gosh, I think it's a 1058, might be 1085. From that institution, from the custodian, Bank of America, Fidelity, or whomever, credit union, that said, you put in this amount, you took out this amount, and you report that with your taxes that, okay, you put in 4,400, and you took out 300 this year. They'll only be interested as far as distributions in the 300, but you will be writing off that $2,400 off the adjusted gross income.
Is there any penalties on that if you took it out before 65?
Like I said, whatever tax rate you are.
Yeah, but that's what I
Yeah,
mean. Just the tax rate, unlike a like a IRA where there's a 10% penalty associated with that plus the tax rate. So there's no pre-distribution penalty on that.
after 59 and a half.
Okay.
After 59 and a half, right.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
after 59 and a
typically,
half, you're not going to be penalized for that part. Any retirement account. And HSAs are not technically considered like a Roth IRA or, regular self-directed IRA. Roth is after tax, the other like pre-tax, but it's kind of like in between that, it's even more beneficial.
so what's the maximum you can put in an HSA account?
I, I do realize now I didn't put that up there, but I'm pretty sure it is 7,000, and it is all laid out in IRS publication 969, as I
Okay.
said, but I'm pretty sure it's 7,000 per individual, and like
Per year?
14,000 per year,
Per year.
plus an extra 1,000 if you're 55 or older. And that catch up years, just like with IRAs and stuff. And all that will be taken off your adjusted gross income. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good strategy.
Well,
As,
that's another, yeah,
whole.
especially because you could still max out your IRA,
Correct.
if you're doing the $15,000 or depending on, what kind of plan you have, and then you can do another 7,000 with your HSA, and
Right. Right. See, that's the way you work it. Multiple vehicles working at the same goal or different goals, because like for instance, IRAs might be accumulating or they may not be accumulating at the same rate, uh, over a period of time. But there's no risk involved with HSAs, no risk, other than if you choose to invest in a mutual fund, guarantee you it's going to tell you investment involves risk. So there's no guarantees. You may or may not gain, but at least it'll still be in a tax kind of advantage account. But I wouldn't, I'm not going to push that part too much with the mutual fund investment, other than it is a sheltered account, but you don't have as much control. I'll just put it like that. I like having a certain amount of control over some things, even though I tend to be have a higher threshold for risk. When I think I've done my due diligence, I have said a basis that's going to be standard. I know I'm going to get this amount interest and all that stuff. All the savings. So it's just hard to beat. But I would encourage you all to review those publications, because you can download them in the book as a book, or just a PDF file. And also, I would encourage you all to take a look at my insurance site, because there's all kind of information on the site. And I'm constantly adding content, revising content. But there is a section about it's not really long, on high deductible healthcare plans and HSAs. And I will be uploading that presentation to the site as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much again, Wilson. This is really informative.
I'm so sorry that things went wrong, because we almost had it, didn't we?
Oh, it's all good.
No, but I still don't know what happened, because we were seeing each other and everything. And then
Yeah.
I could not even get back in.
Yeah.
We'll get it next time.
Yes. Thank you everyone for joining us. And we will be back next Friday. So stay tuned and check our website and Facebook group for updates on who will be sharing next week. So everyone have a fantastic Friday, and we will see you soon.
Thank you,
so much.
Tiffany. Thank you, everybody. Good
Thank
night.
you all.
You're welcome.
Thank you
Have
for
a
your
good
patience.
night.
Awesome.
Great
All
job,
righty.
Wilson. Great job, Wilson.
Oh,
Good
Thank
night,
thank
you.
you so much. Thank you so much. Glad to serve.